My name is Clifford Manchester, and I'm a World War II veteran. In the fall of my senior year in high school, my high school principal gave me an application for a pre-meteorology course that the Air Force was inviting high school seniors. So I applied and was accepted. I went to Ellsworth to get inducted, and they told me they couldn't induct me. Their quota was full. But they called Bangor, and Bangor had an opening. So I was accepted through Bangor. On March 19th in 1943. That was before the Air Force was separate branch, and each of the other branches had its own Air Force. I went to Camp Devens and then Atlantic City for basic training. We marched up and down the boardwalk. Then I went to Hamilton College for a year in pre-meteorology. But partway through, they decided they had more meteorologists in the pipeline than they needed. So they reclassified us all, but insisted that we finish the course. There were 5 of us that signed up for a program that would keep us together. We went initially to Brisbane, Australia. Many of the troops on the ship were office-type personnel for MacArthur's office, but MacArthur had moved his headquarters up to Manila by the time we got to Brisbane. So they diverted us, sent us to Manila. His headquarters were just down the street from the building we were quartered in. And every afternoon, there'd be a large crowd of Japanese gather out in front of the headquarters, and he would come out. The Japanese would want to see him because here's a man that their emperor was answering to, and the emperor was sacred in their minds. So he was a pretty big deal to them. We were there to service the 2 airstrips on the island. It was Army Airways Communication System, Direction, Finding, Evaluation. That was pre-radar days. And if a plane got disoriented or running low on fuel, they could tie down an emergency key, and we could zero in on it and get the direction, but not the distance. But by having 3 or more of the direction finding stations, getting directions, we could pinpoint the location of the plane. And if we had radio communication, we could direct them to the nearest fuel. If they were in real distress, we could send air sea rescue to help them. And actually had one pilot that stopped in at Los Negros in the Admiralty Islands, which was where we were based, to thank us for, in his case, getting him to fuel before he ran out. I was in the Admiralty Islands for about a year. The Admiralty Islands are just off New Guinea. Then I was in the Philippines training for invasion of Japan when the war ended. And so we were very happy. And then on up to Tokyo and came back home from Yokohama. I was lucky. Yeah. I spent a little over a month, I think, in the Philippines, and then about 6 months up in Tokyo before I came back home. 5 of us from Hamilton College, so we stayed together all through the service until we were shipping home from Japan. We went on different schedules, but up to that point, we, all 5 of us, were together, which made it pleasant. I was discharged from Fort Devens on March 1st, 1946. I went to Orono. I started as a freshman, but they classified me as a sophomore because of my year at Hamilton College. And I got a degree, civil engineering at University of Maine. I went to Waterville to work for a contractor, which I did for about 5 years. Scott Paper Company had a mill right across the river from Waterville in Winslow, and I went to work for them and worked 35 years for them, retired as chief engineer at what is now the Sappi Mill in Skowhegan. When I went to Waterville, I boarded with a family there. The man there was actually a double amputee from tuberculosis, but he was very concerned that I didn't have a steady girlfriend. And he knew a lot of people in Waterville and wanted to introduce me to every eligible Oklahoma City is. There was a girl that he and his wife recommended to me, and that's how I met my wife. She died in 2010. We have 3 children, and I have 9 grandchildren and 5 great-grandchildren. I can only say I feel very fortunate that my 3 years in the service were as uneventful as they were